Week 10 Connecticut High School football. 7-1 New Canaan Rams and the 1-6 Fairfield Warde Mustangs. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. Brady Shank joined alongside Dylan Azapari and Dylan.
I'm very excited. This should be a very competitive game. They're both going to try to set the tone on offense. Warde is missing their top two running backs, so we'll see how that affects them.
Yeah, it's interesting to note, Fairfield Warde without their two starting running backs, Bermudez and Valiante. We don't know who's going to be starting for the Mustangs in the running back position, but we do know. So sophomore quarterback Charlie Goldman going to be at the helm for Fairfield. Well, how do you think they're going to kind of drive running back?
Well, they're just going to have to rely on whoever they've got. Coach Delavopi really wants to stress that whoever's in whatever position, they'll succeed. So they'll try to give the option to whoever is playing well.
It's also interesting to note head coach Duncan Delavope making a return to Dunning Field, former New Canaan offensive coordinator, winning a state championship back in 2008 with the Rams. How do you think this rival kind of, well, I guess you could call it rival, how it played out coming into last week?
I think it really I think they want to get this win They really want to get this win at New Canaan, so we'll see how they start.
We're not going to take you down. The Rams are about to take night like.
Hello, friends. Athletic department, booster club, coaches, players, and cheerleaders. Dunning Field at the campus of New Canaan High School. The 2000 Rams. The senior members of our Rams team. New Canaan says hello to the players, coaches, and cheerleaders from Fairfield Warde High School and their head coach, Duncan Delavope. The Rams hold a record of 7 wins and 1 loss. The Mustangs have 1 win and 6 losses. Remember, fans, cheer for your team. Refrain from using foul or abusive language. Respect the call of our officials and enjoy an American tradition. Are you ready for some high school football?
Guys, can I see your line? Move this more? You guys are like, I want to see if I need.
Has won the toss and deferred. Canaan will kick off and defend the north goal. To honor America, will you please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem? This evening it will be sung by Clara Bloom and Will Stallings, along with Tahila Danu. The colors are at the south end of the field.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the
mentioned the tough schedule that the Mustangs have played, and they've given up some pretty high point totals on the other side of the scoreboard. Last week against Wilton, they fell to the Warriors 21-37. So something they're going to try to rebound from. Canaan will be kicking it away to start us tonight.
He's probably cutting it.
Yeah, where's the jack reel?
What?
Where's the jack reel? Where's the...
Ty Groff, the junior, will be getting us started. Mentioning his name, good amount tonight. Had an impressive week last week at Ludlow, 4 field goals. He will be getting us started.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal kicker, as he showed last week.
Groff checks his lines and boots it away, and we are underway from Dunning Field. Held by Coleman. Still up. Made a couple tackles and will be taken down at the 31-yard line.
That's definitely not the start New Canaan wanted. They missed at least 2 tackles right there, so they're really going to have to focus on making those tackles.
Lucas Coleman, the junior, took it pretty good ways for the Mustangs. This will bring out Charlie Golbin and co. And the still a mystery. Who will be running the ball tonight for Fairfield Warde. They line up. Wing receivers on the near side. Coleman takes a snap, hands it off, and immediately stopped by New Canaan. Looked like number 5 for Fairfield Warde, William Amschweiler. Appears he'll be doing the running duties for Coach Della Volpe tonight.
Yeah, we'll see how he fares.
Amschweiler, the junior, 6 feet tall, normally plays the defense. But, getting the nod tonight. Warde returns to the line of scrimmage. Golbin accompanied in the backfield by Silk, and Amschweiler takes the snap. Screen pass caught and taken down for a gain of a little.
That was a good pass by Warde, and you saw that punch-out attempt by Vin Cognetto.
Cognetto makes the tackle. Jacobs caught the pass. And it will set up 3rd and 3 for Fairfield Warde. Some new legs on. Matthew Selka on for the play.
New Canaan would really love to get the stop here and force Warde to go 3 and out and punt.
Of course, any team likes going 3 and out to start the possession. Of course, not for the defensive side. Fairfield Warde, twin receivers on the play. Snaps it. Golbin, quick pass. And is incomplete. Through kind of some free space.
Yeah, it was a good hit on the quarterback by Chad Russo. Really interrupted his flow in the pocket and forced him to get the ball out as quickly as possible.
Fairfield Warde, I guess you can call them unexperienced team. A lot of sophomores, not very many upperclassmen, and that kind of translates on that line there. Golbin's going to be pressured a lot tonight.
Yeah, Coach Della Volpe has been quoted saying they're a very sophomore-heavy team, but that's good for the future of this program. They'll know in the next year or so they'll be able to rely on those sophomores as they progress throughout high school.
Paul Sussman, the punter for the Mustangs, takes the punt, almost blocked. He gets it off. And will take a bounce in favor of Fairfield Warde for being downed at that 40-yard line.
New Canaan's going to start with pretty good position. They're at about the 37. We'll see what they can do with it.
So New Canaan, a impressive first defensive drive, forcing the Mustangs 3 and out. And now senior quarterback Henry Cunney will come out and look to put the Rams on the board. Canaan trips to the near side. In motion is Benevento, and the flag will be thrown. Offsides on Fairfield Warde.
That's not the worst thing that could have happened to Warde. It shows that they're eager and ready to get to the quarterback.
A little too eager there. Picking up the flag and the 5-yard penalty. So it'll be 1st and 5 for Cunny and Co. Hands it off. Immediately stopped. That was Cognetta with the run. Canaan has a lot of different rushers on this team. You got Cognetta, you have Connor Bailey, who's taken a couple snaps, Dominic Rasso, as well as Cunny himself has had some rushes. 2nd and 4. Fakes the handoff, throws it over the middle, is complete to Seelert.
Yeah, Max Seelert has really become one of Cunny's favorite targets throughout this year.
Seelert, 31 receptions on the season entering play today. And they will get another jump on the Fairfield Warde side. 5 more yards for New Canaan.
Coach Delavolpe can't be happy with this. They really got to focus on staying disciplined because they can't afford to give 5 yards every other play.
Only a couple minutes into this one, and Fairfield Warde already 2 penalties against them. Hands this one off on the jet sweep to Seelert. And he will pick up the 1st down. They will move the chains.
This New Canaan offense has really come to trust Seelert with the ball. They know they can get a 1st down with the ball in his hands.
Number 17 there, the junior, Coach Lou Marinelli. Trips on the near side. Cunny, quick pass over to Benevento. And he will pick it up and bring it to the 25-yard line before being taken down by number 4, Bien.
The coaching staff is very excited about Alex Benevento. He's only a 10th grader, so he'll have 2 more years at New Canaan High School, and as you saw in that play, he's explosive and can get yards.
Mentioned Benevento, just a sophomore, but he's been a favorite target. 11 receptions on the season entering play. Cunny with the snap. Hands it off to Cognetta. He breaks through and hits the referee and will be brought down. Finds the hole.
Our referee really helped Warde. He had a bit of a hole there. Maybe could have scored a touchdown, but he gets tackled.
Not quite. 1st and goal. Ball on the 13. Hand off to Cognetta. And stopped by a duo of Mustangs.
That was a good stop by Warde. They saw the run. They knew they would go back to it after that gain from the previous play, and they held him to about 1 or 2.
Bailey and McPhillips enter in. Cunny in the backfield. Checking the sidelines for the call. Bailey accompanying him in the backfield. In motion is Haggerty. Drops back Cunny. Throws it. Back of the end zone. And it's broken up by Fairfield Warde. Rodoto makes the stop. Can't pick up the interception, but it will force 3rd and 8.
We'll see what the Rams choose to do with this play. We'll see if they attack the end zone or just go for the 1st down.
Pass was intended to Rechterman. Rams will try again. 3rd and 8, ball on the 13. Cunny takes the snap, fakes the handoff. Throwing. And a tie, and dropped off the hands of Rechterman. That's twice now. He's gone to the senior, number 9, and twice that he can't pick it up.
Yeah, there's been good coverage on both of those times. They might not have been the easiest catches to make, but they expect their senior players to make those catches.
Now set up 4th and 8, and we will see the amazing leg of Ty Groff. We mentioned last week, 4 for 4 against the Fairfield Ludlow Falcons, including tying a school record with 15 kickers points, and he will attempt.
We'll see if he can keep his hot streak going.
Ball at the 13. Snap is up, Groff with the kick, and it is good. Ty Groff puts New Canaan on the board with a field goal.
Marinelli's thrilled that he can now trust his junior kicker, Ty Groff, whenever he's needed. He's been 5 for 5 in the past 2 weeks, so we'll see throughout the game if he can keep that streak going.
Dylan, if you're head coach Della Volpe, you got a tough task at hand defending Cognetta, Cunny, and then you throw Ty Groff in there, another weapon for them. How do you think they're going to try to slow down New Canaan's offense tonight?
They're really going to have to get pressure on Cunny, make them run the ball more, and then trust your defensive line to be able to make the stops.
So after the field goal from Groff, he will trot out for the kickoff, giving it back to the Mustangs after 3 plays, and they were out on their first drive.
We'll see if they can keep that going. They definitely would like to.
Ty Groff checking the lines. He will run up with it. Boots it. Selka. Selka fields it and is taken down at the 30-yard line.
New Canaan's gonna have to be careful about Michael Selka. He had the first kick return that went for a chunk, and that kick return once again was pretty good. They're just gonna have to make sure they get multiple players tackling him at once.
And we're calling that name Selka a lot. Good reason for it. There's 2 of them, brothers, Matthew and Michael Selka, numbers 2 and 3, both seniors. And that's Charlie Golbin. Will take the Mustangs back on the field, looking for better fortunes this time. Twin receivers, Golbin in the backfield, and they will force a jump on New Canaan. Third offsides of the game. It will create 1st and 5 for Fairfield Warde.
Both of these teams really want to focus on discipline. Letting up 5 yards on a penalty is nothing a coach is going to be pleased with. So they got to just stay calm and get to the quarterback once the ball is snapped.
Golbin and Schweiler in the backfield. Golbin drops back, throws it, caught by Coleman, and is taken down. 4 New Canaan players pushed out of bounds. Murray with the initial hit.
That was a good play by Coleman. He had a bunch of New Canaan defenders on him, and he kept pressing to get as many yards as possible.
Lucas Coleman, already kind of an impact in this game. So he catches the pass there and will create 1st and 10. Picks up the yards needed. Golbin and Schweiler back in the backfield. Drops back, thrown over the head of Selka. The pressure by New Canaan on that one.
That's definitely one Matthew Selka would like to have back. It was definitely catchable, and coaches expect you, as long as you can get a hand on a ball, they expect you to come in with it.
Selka came out of the gate firing in the first 4 games, 4 touchdowns, 10 receptions. And he's been having himself a nice season for Fairfield Warde. 2nd and 10. 6 minutes, 34 seconds left in this first quarter. Golbin takes the snap, being pressured, and is taken down for the sack. Number 12, Chad Russo, picking up the sack.
Yeah, Chad Russo has really been able to get pressure on the quarterbacks. He's gotten a ton of sacks all season, and he's keeping that streak going tonight.
That is Russo's 10th sack on the season. He's now had a sack in every game except for that North Haven game, and he is 6th in the state of Connecticut with sacks.
Yeah, it wasn't really possible to get a sack in that North Haven game. They really just ran the ball all game.
Conference for North Haven team that New Canaan took on a couple weeks ago, picked up the win, and a little too obvious there.
This is going to be a false start on the offense.
Definitely could tell something was up when New Canaan had a couple guys jumping on it, and the refs threw the flag on it. False start on the Mustangs, setting up 3rd and 16.
That is their 3rd penalty of the game for 15 yards. They really can't keep this trend going.
Penalties, they kill any team, but they really make the difference when it comes down to these close games and really those extra yards. And you mentioned 15 yards already taken away from the Mustangs. Golbin and Schweiler in the backfield, trips on the far side. Goldman takes the snap. Short little pass, floats it over, and can't. And on Schweiler. They tried the screen pass, couldn't come away with it. Canaan will force Sussman back on the field and the punt unit.
Yeah, and Canaan once again got pressure on the quarterback, and he was unable to throw like he wanted to.
Threw it a little high, and that Canaan pressure has just been so good he couldn't complete the pass.
They've been showing a lot of blitzes. They've been willing to blitz 5, 6 players, and it's working so far.
Paul Sussman, the punter, back on. He punts it. Bailey lets it bounce and go out of bounds. Will be spotted at the 40-yard line.
Once again, Canaan starting with good field position. Last time they were at the 37, this time they're at the 40. Last time they put 3, this time they're going to hope to put a touchdown on the board.
It's interesting, Dylan, you mentioned Canaan. They're out there blitzing every play, and it might not be apparent in this game, but in 2 weeks they play Darien in the Turkey Bowl. That's a strategy that the Blue Wave have been kind of vulnerable to, that blitz. So they're kind of prepping for that, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, the Mustangs are 1-6, so they feel they're able to try out new things, but they can't get too confident. They got to put points on the board and make sure they secure the win.
Cunny throws it over to Cognetta, and despite the effort from Coleman, we'll pick up a couple more.
Yeah, Cognetta was close to breaking that tackle, but Coleman got a hand on him and was able to trip him up just enough.
Only a gain of a yard. 2nd and 9. Cunny checks back over for the play cards. Trips on the far side. Cunny and Cognetta in the backfield. Cunny takes the snap. Short pass completed. Number 9. Reckerman.
Yeah, it's the 3rd target for Rectorman in the first catch. That went for about 11. And they're going to keep throwing the ball his way if he keeps picking up about 10 or so every play.
They also showed Rectorman. They were throwing him in the red zone. Had 2 attempts to him. In motion was Alert. And the rush, Cognetta will pick up a couple. Setting up 2nd and 6.
Cognetta's really taking that lead back role tonight, and he's been doing a phenomenal job at it. He's been getting them yards and been moving the ball down the field.
Once again, Alert, and he gets it on the jet sweep. Picking up the 1st down and some change.
They've shown that jet sweep to Salert twice now, and both times have gone for a 1st down, so they're going to keep going to that unless Warde makes an adjustment.
You do also look at that, the line there, and Fairfield Warde, they're only playing 3 guys on that defensive line. So Canaan has the advantage there. They force the jump, no flag, and Canaan will check the play once again. Twin receivers, Cunny takes the snap, he loses it, and will just be downed at the 40-yard line, 39.
A bit of a miscommunication between the center and Cunny. That wasn't the worst possible result, as it's only a loss of about 4, but they really got to clean that up if they want to beat the better teams down the road like Darien.
Connor Bailey comes on the play. Placing Cognetta, trips on the near side. Motion. This time, flag is down. Telesco brings it into the 10. There is a flag. We will look on that. But a nice run from Hunter Telesco. False start on New Canaan. We'll be bringing that all the way back.
That's only going to be a 5-yard penalty on the score sheet, but realistically, that's like a 35-yard penalty. That is pretty much as bad as it could have been for New Canaan. Hunter Telesco with the explosive run on the outside got him down to inside the 10, but that goes back.
Telesco on that jet sweep found a hole, was just running, and the refs will call it all the way back, setting up 2nd and 14 from the 39-yard line. 2nd and 19, actually. Cunny trips on the near side. Once again, checking for that play. It's almost like they're trying to draw Fairfield Ward offsides. Cunny gets it, scrambling, and he's just going to keep it. Cunny, and is taken down by number 10, Sockley.
It looked like Henry Cunny had a hole for a second, but that got swallowed up pretty quickly.
And Cunny saw something for a second, kind of followed the path, and didn't get him all that much. But it's 3rd and 14.
Now we'll see how much they try to push the ball downfield on 3rd down. We'll see if they just go for field goal range or if they go for the 1st down.
Connor Bailey in the backfield with Cunny. Same formation, trips on the near side. This time 2 receivers on the far side. Cunny drops back, short little pass, completed to Telesco. Breaks the first tackle, and is eventually taken down by Sussman.
This would be a long field goal opportunity. Let's see what the Rams decide to do. Even though Ty Groff has been phenomenal, this might be even a bit too far of a poke for him.
Apologies, that was actually Michael Selko with the tackle. 4th and 7.
They appear to be going for the field goal.
And Ty Groff is coming back on the field. The ball is on the 32-yard line. It's going to be about a 42-yarder.
I believe.
Give or take some.
I believe this is going to be a 49-yarder.
49, 17. That's a good call, Dylan. He made a 44-yarder last week. Ty Groff looking for a 49-yard field goal. The snap is up. Groff with the kick. And it is just a little bit left. It had the distance, though, just off to the left.
Yeah, that's a big ask, especially out of a junior. That's a kicker even some NFL that's a kick some NFL kickers even don't make consistently. So that's not a terrible miss. I mean, they obviously hoped he was going to make it, but a punt might have been better in that situation.
Punt would have been interesting, especially in high school football. You don't see the field goal that often except for your PATs. So it's interesting, New Canaan has gone for 2 field goals already tonight, and they make one and miss the other. By Ty Groff, most field goals in the state of Connecticut. Unfortunately missing on that last one. Mustangs will try their luck yet again. 3rd drive has been unsuccessful so far tonight.
We'll see if New Canaan keeps up that blitz trend.
Goldman hands it off to Onschweiler, and he will pick up a couple. Flag is down.
New Canaan rush 5 once again, and that might be a face mask. That's the only thing I can think of.
The ref does call it a face mask on New Canaan, so they won't move the chains on it. Automatic 1st down for the Mustangs. 18-yard penalty. Brought a little ways more. Ball placed on the 41-yard line. Clock will run.
Both teams have been relatively undisciplined. I know this is something both coaches are going to want to clean up in practice next week. So we'll see it the next week if they are a bit more patient.
Goldman hands it off to Onschweiler, and is immediately taken down by a duo of New Canaan players. Cognetta and Ahrens make the stop. Nearing the end of this 1st quarter, Fairfield Ward trying a 2nd and 8. And the Canaan student section has packed in Friday Night Lights.
Fairfield Ward doesn't have to run a play, and it looks like they won't until the 2nd quarter.
Coach Duncan Delavolpe will just run the clock out. We are through 1 quarter. New Canaan leads 3-0 for the Fairfield Ward Mustangs thanks to a Ty Groff field goal. We'll be back with more football on NCTV.
Sorry.
Fairfield Warde. Interesting first quarter, to say the least. I don't think either of us knew what we were getting tonight. Two teams that we both knew were going to come out here and play their hearts out in this first quarter. We're just about ready for the second quarter.
I've been very impressed with this Warde defense so far. They held New Canaan to 3 in the first quarter. New Canaan did have a second field goal opportunity, but it was from deep. It wasn't one that they expected to make.
Fairfield Warde with the ball, throwing it complete to number 6, Earl Jacobs.
That was really the first lapse in the New Canaan coverage we've seen so far this game. They've held them to very minimal passing gains, but that was their first big one.
That was Gerald Jacobs. Catch on that far sideline. Teams are now switching sides. So New Canaan moving from left to right on your screen, or Fairfield Warde moving from left to right, and Canaan right to left. Fairfield Warde with the ball, hands it off. Amschweiler immediately stopped by New Canaan. Gain of 1.
New Canaan is not making it easy on Amschweiler. They know he's not their number 1 running back, so they're putting a lot of people in the box and really making sure he can't get hot and get started going.
Schweiler, only a wide receiver. He's not number 1. He's not even number 2. He is their 3rd string running back. Jacob Bermudez and Joseph Vellante both out tonight for the Mustangs. They're reserving to William Amschweiler, a junior, who I got to assume is their starting running back next year.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. If they're willing to put him in now, I'm assuming they'll keep him in next year.
Goldman being pressured by New Canaan, gets a pass off. It is complete. And no gain. It was complete to Amschweiler. That screen pass on the far side.
Once again, New Canaan pressured the quarterback and made him opt for the screen route.
Bailey picked up the tackle. Just joining us, Braden Shank and Dylan has a party with you. So glad you could be with us tonight. Friday Night Lights from Dunning Field on NCTV.
This has been Warde's best possession so far, which was aided by that 15-yard face mask penalty.
Throws it. Stopped and the flag is thrown. It might be a late pass interference.
That was unfortunate for the Rams. It wasn't really intentional contact, but it did interrupt the receiver's ability to catch the ball, so that's the right call.
They're going to call pass interference on number 21, Dylan Murray of New Canaan. It's interesting because that ball was kind of behind him, and then he kind of gave him contact. So the late pass interference was called. 15-yard penalty in high school, not like the NFL. But it will be a first down for Fairfield Warde.
Once again, Fairfield Warde's drive has been aided by New Canaan penalties. Their defense has really got to make sure to understand that they can't commit these penalties because they've given up 30 yards on this drive alone.
Penalties, once again, they kill any team. Once again, New Canaan playing Darien in 2 weeks. That type of penalties really could cost them a game.
Yeah, they're really going to try to clean up on that.
Goldman with the snap, being pressured, throws the lob pass up, is through the hands of number 6, Gerald Jacobs.
That's one he's really going to want to have back. He had the New Canaan defender beat, and he just dropped the ball. That was a surefire touchdown if he hauled that in.
Jacobs in Fairfield Warde's first 4 games, 12 receptions, but couldn't find the end zone. His specialty was kind of those lob passes getting them into the red zone, and they were trying it yet again, but Canaan makes the stop.
Once again, he's young. He's only a sophomore, so he'll progress throughout the next few years.
One of 42 sophomores on this Fairfield Warde team. And snap gets New Canaan offsides.
Oh, they actually end up calling a false start on Warde.
False start on Fairfield Warde.
After those, both sides blame the other side for the infraction, but the referees choose Warde as the one who jumped first.
We're still pretty early in this one. We've seen a lot of those formation penalties, the offsides, the false starts.
Yeah, both coaches are going to go into halftime, really emphasize that to their team. This is something neither team can afford.
Sets up 2nd and 15 after the penalty. Charlie Goldman takes the snap, immediately being blitzed, throws it, low pass caught by Einschweiler. And he'll pick up 1 or 2.
That was Goldman getting pressured once again. He delivered a low pass, really couldn't catch the receiver in stride because the New Canaan pass rush has been pretty great this game.
Second snap was off. He had 2 New Canaan defenders coming right at him. He had to get a snap or get a throw off. And he found Schweiler. Only picked up 1. 3rd and 14 on the 35-yard line. Goldman and Schweiler in the backfield. Throws it. It's a little screen pass over to Coleman. And he will dive to get back to the line of scrimmage.
On that play, you could really see the inexperience of Schweiler. He was in a blocking set and allowed the New Canaan defender to just go right around him. That's something that, as the running back, you're expected to do. You're expected to block on certain plays, and he wasn't able to do that. So he'll watch that on film and definitely try to correct that.
Charlie Goldman will trot back on the field, and it appears that Fairfield Ward will be going for it on 4th and 15. An interesting call. They're not going to kick the field goal, and they're going to give Paul Sussman a break. Goldman with the snap, throws downfield, and incomplete. Turning it over to New Canaan.
Not sure that's the best call. 4th and 15 is quite a poke. They might as well have given New Canaan a short punt, giving them a tad bit more field to work with, but they choose to go for it, and it's unsuccessful.
You got to imagine Fairfield Ward's kind of in that part of the season that they're not necessarily making a playoff push, but they're just kind of trying some things out, building for the future. So going for it on 4th and 15, but not able to convert it.
I'm just not sure 4th and 15 is the time and place to try that.
And the handoff brought down at the 40-yard line for a gain of a couple.
Recommend this game has really been Cunny's favorite target. He has hauled in 2 of the 4 targets for about 16 yards.
Rectorman 1 reception for 9 yards. Handoff. This time to Cognetta. He breaks a tackle. He breaks 2. Breaks another. He is still up. It's Cognetta bringing it, and he will get it inside the 30-yard line for a long rush.
That was a phenomenal rush by Cognetta, but the thing I like most about that play is Henry Cunny getting up into the play and making blocks for his running back. He is willing to do the dirty work, and that really helped his team.
So many times the quarterbacks, they hand it off, they think their job is done, but Cunny stuck with the play, made the block, giving Cognetta the opportunity to bring it to the 30-yard line. In motion is Benevento. He gets it on the jet sweep and is taken down on that far side.
New Canaan really must have saw something about the Ward's defense in their film this week, because they've ran 3 pretty successful jet sweeps.
Bonner picked up the tackle. It is interesting. You can see their formation, only 3, maybe 4 guys on that line.
Also don't have a deep safety as of right now, so we'll see if a New Canaan receiver can beat their man.
Mustangs struggled last week against Wilton, defending those long passes. Kind of have that run defense going for him. Cunny hands it off. This time to Bailey. Bailey will bring it to the 25.
Connor Bailey and Vin Cognetta have really been the top 2 running backs, and now we see Rasso checking in the game, and we'll see if they choose to run with him this time.
Dom Rasso. Backfield with Cunny. Was at 25-yard line. Check for the play. Shift themselves around. Cunny takes the snap, drops back, throws it, and it is should say knocked away by number 3, Michael Selka.
That was a good play by Mike Selka. I really would have loved to see Cunny throw that ball to the flat, to Dom Rasso in the flat. He had a lane and probably could have fought for the first down.
This brings up 4th and 6. Lou Marinelli is going to elect to keep the offense on the field. He's going to give Ty Groff a break after 2 field goal attempts. Cunny and Bailey check over for the play.
Both teams are very faithful in their offense as they're going for it on 2 pretty long for 4th downs. Most of the time you only see them going 2 and 1 yard 4th downs.
Cunny drops back, scrambling. Gets the throw off. It is high. It will hit the ground and be incomplete. Michael Selko once again almost came away with it for Fairfield Ward. But the Mustangs, they can't be disappointed with that. You make a stop, you get the ball right back with 6.5 minutes left to play before the half.
I do think that field goal is definitely in Tigers' range. I think they should have kicked the field goal, but Fairfield Ward doesn't get a amazing field position. It's just pretty much a touchback, so it doesn't make a huge difference. But they would have liked to get some points on the board.
Charlie Golbin, accompanied by Schweiler. That short screen pass once again to Schweiler, taken down by Warneberger.
Yeah, the short screen passes really haven't worked against this New Canaan defense. They've gotten a lot of pressure on Golbin, and they've also been able to get a lot of help to make the tackle on the screen pass.
Apologies, that was Ryan Warneberg with the tackle. Mustangs will try again. Trips on the near side. With the 2 Selkas and Coleman. Takes the snap. Hands it off. Stopped by New Canaan. Ref will blow it off.
New Canaan once again rushed 6. They're really not afraid to leave their DBs in single coverage. They have faith that they'll be able to stop any passes that come their way.
Canaan's just been dominant on that defensive line. Fairfield Ward really hasn't been able to get the running game going. Only about 10 yards rushing tonight. Golbin looking long, will keep it himself and will be taken down by number 5, Warneberg.
I do think Golbin passed the line of scrimmage, so that's not going to go down as a sack, but a good play nonetheless.
4th and 13. Coach Duncan Della Volpe, pretty obvious choice here. You're going to bring the punt unit on, and Paul Sussman.
Yeah, it'd be pretty strange if they did anything besides punting here. They're too deep in their own territory to go for it, especially on this distance.
Sussman with the punt. That New Canaan defense is coming very close. And it's muffed. And the flag is thrown. I do believe it touched a New Canaan player, but the ref might say that it was an intentional push or something along those lines.
Yeah, the New Canaan player called for a fair catch, and Ward still hit him. So that's gonna be a penalty 10 times out of 10.
Fairfield Ward trying to plead their cases with the referees. And we're awaiting the official call. It is going to be against Fairfield Ward.
In my eyes, that had to be a penalty. I mean, New Canaan player had a clear path to catch the ball, and it got interrupted by the hit after he called a fair catch.
That's the big thing. They called the fair catch. Technically, he's not even trying to make the catch at that point. So after hit on Fairfield Ward, we'll be setting up New Canaan in some good field position. At the 37-yard line. Cunny hands it off to Bailey. Bailey will break free and pick up gain of 12 to the 25-yard line.
Coming into this game, we were really talking about the running back tandem they have at Warde. Both of them not playing, but the 2 running backs of New Canaan, Connor Bailey and Vin Cognetta, have been phenomenal themselves.
Bailey once again with the rush. Picks up 3 for 2nd and 6.
New Canaan's really got to focus on putting this ball in the end zone. They're also going to want to chew as much time off the clock as possible so Ward doesn't have time to go downfield.
And that will be what appears to be a false start on Ronski.
That was a relatively late call. I'm not sure the refs were exactly sure on what to call.
Matthew Ronsky had the false start. I think he tried to sneak his way back into position without anyone seeing it. But refs, one of them will see it, and they make the call, pushing him back 5 yards.
It's definitely the right call, but he was close to getting away with it.
Bailey and Cunny in the backfield. Cunny takes the snap, drops back, scrambling. He'll keep it himself. Evades 2 and will be taken down by number 10, Sockley.
That was a great play by Cunny, able to escape the pocket and make the most of the situation. Clock still running. They're going to try to run this down to as low as possible and then punch it in for a touchdown.
Once again, New Canaan deferred on the opening coin toss, so they will receive coming out of the half. So best case scenario for them, they put up 7 and they keep the Mustangs off the board heading into the half. Cognetta gets it. And the ball is loose. Cognetta will pick up his own fumble, but will be losing some of it because of it.
That was nearly a disaster. He had the open lane and then fumbled. He could have been very close to a touchdown, but you know, a good play by Warde to knock the ball out and stop the run.
One of the reasons these New Canaan teams are always so dominant is they make those little errors, but they quickly pick up on themselves, so it's nothing major.
Yeah, they had Cunny and Cognetta around that ball. They were both able to pick it up, and Cognetta ends up picking up his own fumble. No harm.
Cunny hands it off to Cognetta, is immediately stopped by number 9, Paul Sussman.
We've seen the miscommunication between Cunny and the center. That was a bit of a high snap, really didn't allow him to hand off the ball as cleanly as they'd like, and Cognetta gets swallowed up in the backfield for a loss, too.
Saying Paul Sussman's name a lot tonight, the punter and a defensive back for the Mustangs. Kind of a interesting combination.
Yeah, it's not one you see every day, but that shows even the punters can be athletes.
Cunny in the backfield, hands it off to Cognetta. And Cognetta will bring it. And he will score for the New Canaan touchdown. Then Cognetta rushes it in for a 16-yard touchdown. New Canaan goes up 9-0.
That's exactly the redemption he wanted. I'm sure he was not pleased with the fumble, but he's glad to punch it in for a touchdown.
Cognetta 4 rushing touchdowns entering play. Picks up his 5th right there. And our first touchdown of the night. Ty Groff back to kick the PAT.
See if he can make it 10-0. I'm sure Coach Marinelli has faith.
Groff with the kick. Beautiful kick. And with that kick, Ty Groff is 30 for 30 on PATs this year. Perfect slate for him. Dylan, what do you think Fairfield Ward's going to try to do here to not get rattled by that and try to put up a score before the half?
Well, they're definitely going to try to move the ball quickly. I'm expecting to see a lot of throws to the sidelines, not a ton of runs. They're going to want to get as deep into New Canaan territory as possible. Ideally, they're going to want to put up a touchdown, but they'll take a field goal.
Fairfield Ward, really, their offense has just been shut down. They have 17 passing yards and only 10 rushing yards. That's 27 yards right there on offense, plus the New Canaan penalties. That's been their offense really tonight.
Yeah, I believe it's about 40 yards in penalties for the New Canaan defense. That's really helping Ward.
Big time, it's helping Ward.
After last week's phenomenal outing by Ty Groff, he really spoke on how it's a team effort. You know, the snap has to be right, the hold has to be right, and then the kick has to be right. So he's thankful for everyone else who's part of the team.
Off with the kick. Fielded by Coleman. Rushing with it is still up. Stiff arms. And will be dragged out of bounds by Murray.
Lucas Coleman is making a nice game for himself. He's gotten a bunch of good kick returns. That New Canaan's lucky that didn't go for more. He almost got the outside, tried to stiff arm, couldn't quite get him, but New Canaan forced him out of bounds.
Still a good return for Coleman. And we'll bring this Fairfield Ward offense back on the field, trying to get something together before heading into the locker room.
I would anticipate they try to push the ball down the field as quickly as possible. But the one key thing is they don't want to turn the ball over. That would be detrimental to trying to come back.
And a lot of movement on that Fairfield Ward side. And head coach Della Volpe will call a timeout. A minute 44 left before the half. Fairfield Ward with the ball, down by 10. Looking to get something, even a field goal, just to get themselves on the board.
That's really not ideal to call a timeout right there. It's the first play of the possession, and they're forced to call a timeout. Those may be necessary as they move the ball down the field. If they're trying to get a field goal, they need to stop time.
Dylan, we mentioned Fairfield Ward and just the monster of a schedule they have had. They played Darien, who's undefeated, Hull, and West Haven, both with one loss. And then you have Norwalk, Trumbull, Wilton, and now New Canaan, all with one loss, too. And they've played a really tough stretch. The 6 teams that they have lost to have a combined record of 40-9. That's unheard of. And Fairfield Ward, I think they've shown they're battle tested. They're coming out here and giving New Canaan a run for their money.
Honestly, I think this is one of the best possible situations for the Mustangs. They are a sophomore-heavy team, so getting exposure to some of the best teams in Connecticut is really going to help them develop throughout the season, and they'll be a powerhouse in a few years.
Goldman hands it off to Amschweiler. Stopped by New Canaan. The initial fake to Silk, but they did not fool New Canaan. Setting up 2nd and 9.
Ward seems to not be getting too aggressive. They're not really forcing the hurry-up offense, and we just saw a run. So they may be content to take it down 10 into half.
The toss and the throw, flag is thrown. Very interesting play call there. The toss and the lateral, and then thrown downfield.
That might be a rare offensive pass interference we saw there.
Pass interference on New Canaan. So 15 yards added to New Canaan's penalty yard total. And Fairfield Ward will pick up the first down.
I do believe that call could have gone either way, but the pass interference rules are definitely in favor of the offense, so it shouldn't really come as a surprise.
Actually, it could have gone either way. That the toss that was kind of lost, and then the throw downfield. So it kind of cost both teams off guard. And this one is thrown on the far side. It's taken down for a loss of yardage.
Ward's really got to stop throwing those screen passes. They really haven't worked. They've gone for negative yards most of the time.
Well, the first quarter they went for a couple positive yards, but as of late, New Canaan has picked up on it and really stopped. As there is a player down on the field. A little over a minute before the half. New Canaan 10, Fairfield Ward 0. And Fairfield Ward, their offense has just been shut down. Only 25 offensive yards so far this game. That's something, if you're New Canaan, you got to be thrilled with. Your defense is playing that well.
Yeah, their defense is playing well, but what's not shown on the yards is the penalties they've committed. They really got to focus on that because we just saw another 15-yard pass interference penalty. They're really giving Ward life. They haven't really been able to convert on their possessions besides New Canaan getting penalties.
You mentioned the penalties. 6 penalties for 60 penalty yards for New Canaan. That is something that has been mentioning all game. It's killer to any team, but especially in these close games. You can't have that. As they are attaining to the downed player.
It's Justin Galemba. Really hope he's okay. You know, you never want to see anyone get injured. This is a physical game, but we wish him the best and hope he's fine.
Especially this late in the season. You play a whole season, and these last couple games, the players are taking a knee. Quick look ahead for both of these teams. We mentioned New Canaan, kind of the prelude to the Turkey Bowl today. They will take on Darien Thanksgiving morning in their 10th and final game. Fairfield Ward, kind of a different schedule. They were supposed to have next week off, but they will take on the Brian McMahon Senators. McMahon had some scheduling issues early in the season, had to push everything back. So that is next week, and then the following week, Thanksgiving, the Battle of Fairfield. Fairfield Ludlow versus Fairfield Ward. talk about rivalries on Thanksgiving. Darien, New Canaan, and Fairfield, Warde, and Ludlow might be right behind that.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be very excited to play the other school in their town. That's going to be a very important game to them. Whether it's for a playoff spot or not, they're going to want to win because they don't want to be. They want to be the better. They want to be the best school in their town.
They're still attending to that downed Fairfield Warde player. Justin Galimba, a senior tri-captain for the Mustangs.
This is giving both teams the time to catch their breath. We'll see how Warde plans to come out after this break. They should be fresh. See if they choose to throw the ball downfield, go with a few runs. I'm not sure.
So it is a Fairfield Warde ball when play resumes. They're still attending to the player. Once again, you are watching NCTV. We have a brief moment. We give a shout out to our production crew. Doing a great job bringing you all the sights and sounds in this one. Emily Fox, Armand Lachey, Tommy Fox, Aiden Taylor, Maggie Murphy, and Amelie Lanoff. Braden Shank and Dylan as a party with you. So glad you could be with us. Friday night lights from New Canaan's Dunning Field.
Yeah, this is a team effort here at NCTV, and it's a team effort on the field by New Canaan and Warde.
Once again, 1:02 left before the half. Both teams, as you mentioned, having a chance to catch their breath, talking with the coaches, trying to plan out some final plays.
I really hope this injury isn't too serious. Galimba is a senior, so that would be a terrible way to end his final season at high school.
That's a good point there. Justin Galimba, the senior, 6 foot, 255, a big lineman, both I should say skill-wise for the Mustangs. Especially, in these years where they're an underclassmen heavy team, they need those seniors really to produce and lead the team, and Galimba's just done just that this year.
Yeah, they need to have a rock on the offensive line, someone who is level-headed and won't make too many mistakes.
See the referees there, all huddled up. Had a big night tonight. A lot of flags on both teams. Canaan 60 yards in penalties. You also look at the history between these two schools when they meet. New Canaan has won, it feels like a lot of the last meetings. Fairfield Warde has not beaten New Canaan since 1983. The streak they want to keep going tonight.
Yeah, it's quite a long time. New Canaan really wants to beat any team in the FCIAC and the state in general. Anytime they play anyone, they think they can be the better team. And as you see, Galimba finally gets up. Really wishing him the best. It's looking like it's going to be a right knee injury of some sort. Really hope it's not a torn ACL or something like that.
Galimba will get some assistance. Again, we wish that it's nothing too severe.
That's going to be a big loss for Warde. I'm assuming he's not going to be able to come back in this one.
Mentioned Fairfield Warde without two running backs tonight, that both the offense and defensive line for them kind of a little weak, and New Canaan's plowed through it. Now with the loss of Justin Galimba, it's getting a little bit more weak. Of course, his teammates are going to come over and give support. Canaan defense still huddled up. They're going to plan out their strategy to defending the Mustangs for these closing parts in the first half, second quarter. Will be 2nd and 13 from the 42-yard line.
Ward's had plenty of time to come up with the play, so we'll see if they decide. We'll see what they decide to do on this first play after that 5 or so minute break.
So after the injury timeout or injury break, clock will continue to roll.
I would like to see Ward get to the line really soon. There's only 10 seconds left on the play clock. They might be in trouble. They're gonna have to snap the ball quick.
4 seconds on the play clock. They need to get something off. Clock's down to 1, and they get it off. A little flip over to Coleman. He is still up and will be taken down by number 26, Aarons.
Schweiler made a good block that time on Ryan Warnerberg. It was a battle of the fives, and the Ward won one.
Coleman picks up a couple, and the whistles will be blown. Timeout for New Canaan. So that sideline gets the timeout off. They're going to strategize with 14.7 left to play in the half, up by 10, and getting that kick coming out of the half. So really the only thing New Canaan can't do is give up a long touchdown pass.
Yeah, they'll be satisfied with letting up a field goal, but as of right now, I think their goal should be to let up nothing. They aren't. Their Ward's about 25 or so yards out of field goal range, so it'll take a big play on this down with only just under 15 seconds left to get them in scoring range.
Mustangs have done it before in this game. They've thrown long to Coleman on kind of that loft pass, so it's gonna be interesting to progress the ball. They do still have two timeouts in the half. Will break the huddles and get ready for 3rd and 12.
You can call that timeout because there's a bit of confusion on the substitution, so hopefully they've worked that out and are able to make a good play. I'm assuming we'll see a blitz. I don't know what you think, Ben.
A blitz would probably be a good call based on the events of tonight and what their game plan has been.
Actually, seems like they're in prevent defense, making sure they're not
Short
getting in
pass.
field goal range.
Once again, long pass from Coleman. Downfield, it's dropped through the hands of Connor Bailey. And it will be 4th and 12. That lateral over to Coleman, and once again, he was throwing deep, but couldn't complete the pass. It was almost intercepted, but 4th and 12.
Connor Bailey visibly upset about that play. He really expected to come down with that interception, and I'm sure most of you at home did too. But unfortunately, that's a drop, and Ward's going to have one last chance. I'm assuming they're going to go Hail Mary.
You have to go Hail Mary on it. 7 seconds left, 4th and 12. Golbin lined up, timeout called by Fairfield Ward. Charlie Golbin looks like he wasn't on the same page as the sideline, as he was ready to throw the ball. But nonetheless, Fairfield Ward will take a timeout.
Buchanan showed prevent defense. They had those 3 deep safeties. But I wouldn't count out pressure on the quarterback. You know, they got their D1 Army commit, Ned Brady, on the line.
Ned Brady, just what a star he's been for New Canaan this year. And as mentioned, they're going to be pressuring the quarterback because they know that that O-line's going to be a little weak, especially after the injury. So they're going to try to find every advantage they can. I mentioned Ned Brady, committed to Army. He received offers from a lot of D1 schools, Rutgers, Boston College, Syracuse, Navy, just to name a few. He ended up choosing Army West Point.
It's a very honorable choice.
That is true. Golbin takes the snap. Rolling to his left. Short little pass is out of the reach. And the clock will stop with 1 second left.
Buchanan's going to get the ball here. We'll see if they try a Hail Mary of their own.
So 1 second left. Buchanan might be throwing for the end zone. And they will huddle up with Coach Marinelli. If you're Fairfield Ward, you got to be rushing the quarterback. Same thing as Buchanan. The only issue is, as they've shown, they're not that strong on the defensive line. Only 3 linemen playing the line of scrimmage.
We'll see who they choose to go to. They got trips on the far side.
And throwing it. It is complete. Lateral over to Bailey. He is still up and is eventually taken down by Paul Sussman. And that will do it for the first half. Our score 10-0 New Canaan. Good half by both teams as we welcome you back in the booth. Dylan, what did you see in this first half?
Well, I saw that the main thing that stood out to me was the New Canaan pass rush. They did a phenomenal job. I believe it was 2 sacks on the quarterback. They're going to want to keep that up. They've given him no time to make throws, and that's shown. They just really got to limit the penalty yards.
Canaan 60 penalty yards in that first half. Now we'll go to the other sideline. Head coach Duncan Della Volpe and the Mustangs. What are you telling your guys if you're head coach Duncan Della Volpe at the half?
They're not out of this game whatsoever. It's only a touchdown and a field goal away from tying this game right up. They're just going to have to focus on making the first defensive stop after the half, and then they'll get the ball back and try to push the ball down the field.
So New Canaan leads 10-0 in the half, a field goal and a touchdown from them. We come back, second half football on NCTV.
Oh my God, Nolly's You changed your nails? Where did you go?
our New Canaan High School cheerleaders. Thank you, ladies.
Yay! I messed up the counts on the start.
We welcome you back to Dunning Field on the campus of New Canaan High School as we are awaiting the start of the second half between the Fairfield Warde Mustangs and the New Canaan Rams. And I believe we're going to take a look at the scores around the FCAC. Have a moment. Big night for FCAC football, Friday Night Lights. And we had a good game here tonight, or we do still have a good game. Fairfield Warde, New Canaan. Dylan, you mentioned your first half thoughts. What do you think we're going to kind of see in the second half?
We're definitely going to see New Canaan stick with that run. It's been very effective so far. But we're also going to want to see a bit more out of Warde's offense. They really haven't gotten that many yards, so they're going to try to, on their first possession, get the ball down the field and get some points on the board.
Mustangs offense, only 26 offensive yards. And you look at the New Canaan penalties, 60 penalty yards, more penalty yards than actual offensive yards. But yeah, now we're going to take a look at the scores around the FCAC. As we mentioned, a lot of good games tonight, and this is one of many that are happening. And you see the graphic. Great job by our crew to bring you that one. Fairfield Ludlow, Bridgeport Central, 45-0 Ludlow. Big game, Norwalk Wilson, the game of the week. A lot of playoff implications for the playoffs, and Richfield Staples, Danbury, Trumbull. A lot of big games around the league, and really coming down the stretch. You know, you got a lot of Thanksgiving games. But fun time to be a football fan in Fairfield County.
Yeah, Wilton was a mutual loss to both of these teams. Both the Rams and Warde lost to Wilton, so they're no slouch of a team.
So the teams will get ready to go for 4 minutes of high school football. Braden Shank and Dylan has a party with you. So glad you could be with us. Friday Night Lights here on NCTV. Canaan, Fairfield, Warde. Canaan, they had the offense going for them in the first half. They had that early field goal from Ty Groff. They had the later touchdown from Connor Bailey. So they really had all cylinders working for them except for the downside of the penalties.
On this drive by New Canaan, I expect to see a lot of runs. They have the 10-point lead. They're going to want to take as much time off the clock as they can with each possession.
So once again, New Canaan, they won the opening toss and elected to defer. So they will be receiving the kickoff here in the second half. Fairfield Warde, they are hanging around with New Canaan. 10-0 our score. Still a lot of football left to be played.
This is the first time we're going to see the Rams receive a kick. Warde has had a few really good kick returns, so we'll see if New Canaan can answer with one of their own.
Selka with the run-up and the kick. It is fielded just past the 20-yard line by number 27, Benevento. And he will bring it up just shy of the 40-yard line. We're underway in the second half.
Wasn't the longest kick. Alex Benevento was lucky to get a good bounce straight into his hands, and he took that for about 15 yards.
Benevento, he's a speedy guy, to say the least. He's had a lot of rushes for a good amount of yards, and on the passing game, 11 receptions for 131 yards.
We saw him have the jet sweep earlier in the game. That went for about 1. We'll see if they get him involved more in this second half offense.
Henry Cunny is back on the field with his offense, takes the snap, short little screen pass. It is caught, and advancing it on the far sideline and staying up with it. McPhillips will bring it into the red zone. McPhillips, the senior wide receiver, picks up a big reception to start out the second half.
That was the first catch we've seen from McPhillips, and that was an amazing one. That went for about 30, 35, and they're going to keep throwing it his way if he can keep that up.
Phillips caught a 53-yard touchdown versus Bridgeport Central earlier. In motion was Benevento, and rushing with it was Incognito.
They saw Alex Benevento in motion, and they expected to see that jet sweep that we've seen multiple times this game, but they choose to run it down the middle. So that definitely caught Warde off guard.
Trips on the near side, Cunny. Quick pass is complete to Sealer, and he is free for the New Canaan touchdown. Max Sealer makes it 16-0.
New Canaan made short work of that drive. Only 57 seconds, and they put 6 on the board. And we'll expect Groff at this point to make the extra point as pretty much a guarantee.
30 for 30 on PATs this season, looking to add another. It's got to be a killer to the Mustangs. You play a great first half, you come out of the locker room, and New Canaan does that on their first possession. Only a couple plays. Ty Groff with the PAT opportunity. Snap the hold from Benevento. Groff with the kick, and into the woods. A beautiful kick from the junior Ty Groff. 17-0 New Canaan leads. Dylan, once again, we've been mentioning this repeating theme, Fairfield Warde. They can't think themselves out of this. They can't get down. It's now a 3-score game, but they're still in this game.
Yeah, they're just really going to have to score on this possession. Points here are going to be critical. If they give New Canaan ball back, as they showed on that drive, they'll have no trouble scoring them again.
The Mustangs have had slow going to start off on the offense, with only 26 offensive yards. And you look at the possession time, they've actually had more possession time than New Canaan so far this game. But they haven't been able to convert on the long plays.
Yeah, penalties have really helped the Warde offense out. They haven't been able to help themselves. So as long as New Canaan limits those penalties in this half, I'm sure they'll have no problem limiting Warde to very few, if any, points.
Canaan will kick it off right back to Fairfield. Warde, if you're just joining us, you missed a New Canaan touchdown. They got the opening kick in the second half and brought it all the way to the house on 2 plays. Let's go up 17-0. Groff checks his lines, and he will run up and boot it away. Long kick, treated by Selka. And he evades tackle by Telesco, still up, and is eventually taken down by number 24, Connors.
That was a deep kick by Ty Groff, and once again, Warde had a fairly good return. That went for about 17 or so, and New Canaan really hasn't been able to make the first tackle on the kick returns.
That's right, indeed. They missed some of those tackles, and the flag is on the play against the Mustangs, so we'll push them back a little bit. Yeah, actually, quite some ways, moving them inside their own 10. And if you're the Mustangs, you just got to avoid a safety here. You're without your star D lineman, Justin Galimba, and the holding will push them all the way back.
A safety is definitely in the play. You've seen the New Canaan pass rush. They've had no trouble getting to the quarterback, so they're going to probably run the ball a few times to get themselves a little bit of safety room.
Golban hands it off immediately. He's not going to drop back and risk anything, but no gain on the play.
This is a hard situation to balance. They don't want to drop back and allow the safety, but they also don't want to be too cautious and have to punt the ball to New Canaan.
Decisions to make. Duncan Del Vope, one making them for the Mustangs.
We'll see if they go back to that screen pass. It was successful in the first quarter, not so much in the second, but we'll see if they try it again in the third.
Golban in the backfield. Schweiler right next to him. Drops back, being pressured, and gets the throw off. It is caught by Coleman. He has open field. He will bring it past the 50. He is still up and brings it to the 40-yard line. The ball is loose, and the flag is thrown. There's a lot that just happened right there.
Yeah, that's a very interesting play. You had the 60-yard reception by Coleman. You had the potential fumble, and you have the flag to finish it all off. We'll see what ends up happening here.
Take you through that play. Golban drops back. Dylan Blair immediately putting pressure on him. Gets the throw off to Coleman. Coleman finds a hole, and he was off to straight daylight. Was taken down, and they, I believe, will call him down. Holding on Fairfield Warde. Personal foul. And they will start trotting.
That's going all the way back. That is a killer.
It's not going to go back all the way.
It was during the run, so it's not going to go back quite all the way, but that's still a killer. It turns that 60-yard catch, and although it stands as a 60-yard catch, it's a net gain of about 45.
I believe it's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. So they will move it back to the 47-yard line after the long gain from Lucas Coleman. But some life for Fairfield Warde.
Lucas Coleman's really been Ward's most explosive player. He's had a few good kick returns, and we just saw that amazing reception.
Goldman being pressured, and he is taken down. Dylan Blair with the sack.
That's 2 straight plays Dylan Blair's gotten pressure on the quarterback. He almost had that safety about a split second too late, but there he managed to get the sack.
Blair, the senior, coming off an impressive game last week where he recorded 5 tackles versus the Ludlow Falcons. And he picks up a sack right there. His first full sack on the season.
The New Canaan pass rushes wasted no time getting to the quarterback once again this half. Ward's really got to sharpen up on the offensive line.
Goldman drops back. Short little screen pass over to number 5. Schweiler, and he will pick up a couple, bringing back to the initial line of scrimmage at the 47-yard line for a 3rd and 10.
Once again, the Rams forced Goldman to get the ball out of his hand really quick. They tried that screen pass, and that went for about a gain of 2, so not the worst result ever.
Back on the 47-yard line, 3rd and 10 for the Mustangs. They're just going to try to keep the chains moving, keep the offense out on the field. Trips on the far side, Goldman and Schweiler in the backfield. Drops back, over the middle, is complete. They will pick up the 1st down and a few more. Catch from Matthew Selka.
Matthew Selka has been the other lifeline for this Ward offense. He's made a few receptions in this game, and that one was a good one, went for about 11, 12.
Actually, believe it or not, that was Selka's first completion of the game. He's been targeted quite a few times, just hasn't been able to come away with the reception, and he does right there, picking up the 1st down for the Mustangs. Hands it off to Schweiler. Dragged down by number 26, Bo Aarons.
Schweiler's really had not much success running the ball this game. The New Canaan D-line has been dominant over this Ward O-line. So they might have to veer away from that running game, but that's hard because you really want to establish a rush.
Ward in an interesting situation. 3rd string running back, a sophomore quarterback. They're just going to try to get any yards they can as Goldman drops back. Completed to Coleman, trying to pick up a couple more, and he is stopped by 4 New Canaan players. Initial tackle by Rittenberry.
Theme I've noticed on all of Coleman's receptions is that he'll always fight for the extra yards. No matter if he has 1 Ram on him or 4, he'll always try to get as many yards as possible.
Those little yards, they all add up in the long run. The yards after contact. And Canaan, they're going to have to get familiar with that. Darion's Ty Comiskey coming in for the Turkey Bowl has the highest yards after contact in the state. But as you mentioned, Coleman doing a good job here as Coleman is in motion. Hands it off to Schweiler. Stopped by a committee of New Canaan players for a gain of a couple.
This has been arguably the most successful drive by Ward. They had that massive reception by Coleman, and this is really unfortunate. We see Schweiler hobbling over to the sideline. Now, I'm not really sure who's going to play running back.
Schweiler just collapsed on the sidelines. I think he got back up. He appears to be fine, but he is off the field. So Fairfield Ward will try their 4th running back, 4th string. Appears to be number 1, Christopher Silk. Goldman takes the snap, throws it over the middle, complete to Selka. Picks up the 1st down, and the chains will move. The Mustangs, we mentioned, Bermudez, Volante, they're mainly 1-2 punch at running back. Both out tonight. They went to William Schweiler. He just left play. And Christopher Silk, now the running back for the Mustangs.
I anticipate we'll see a lot of passes. I'm not sure they'll go with the run, especially with their 4th string running back now in. But we'll see.
Soka Sr. mainly playing defense as it will be handed off to Silk. Breaks the initial contact, trying to power through for a gain. And will bring it to the 12-yard line.
You can tell Silk's definitely a football player. I mean, he's able to break the tackle, but he's not really necessarily a running back. He didn't really get his pads low, and he was a bit up high, and it kind of didn't allow him to get as many yards as he possibly could have.
Christopher Silk, the mainly linebacker for the Mustangs, senior captain for them. He's described by his coaches as a leader on the field. As Golban drops back, throws it, complete, staying with it is number 6, Gerald Jacobs.
Yeah, back to talking about Christopher Silk. If they are going to run with him, I expect it to be up the middle. He's listed at 6 foot, 200, just over 200 pounds. So he's definitely got that linebacker build, and he'll be able to break tackles as we saw on the previous run play.
Silk's job mainly tackling guys, now shifting to gaining yards. And the Mustangs have some offense, have some life in them with the 3rd and 3 from the 7-yard line. Golban and Silk in the backfield. Twin receivers. Golban takes a snap, being rushed. Quick pass, complete to Coleman. He will bring it to the 5-yard line, and they're gonna call it 4th down. They're gonna say he's short. So it's gonna be 4th and inches. 4th and 1 they'll give him. This is a big deciding play here. The Mustangs, are they just gonna take their 3 easy points, or if they're gonna stay out there and go for the touchdown?
This really is a hard play because they need points. So getting stopped on 4th down would be probably the worst case scenario. And we just saw William Onschweiler come back in the game, and we're glad to see that he's not too banged up.
Silk is now hustling off the field. Had a good stay at running back for the Mustangs, but he will be returning to linebacker. Golban and Onschweiler in the backfield. 6 on the play clock. 4th and 1. Takes a snap. Golban drops back, throws it over the middle, complete by Coleman. And they're going to move it to the 2-yard line, picking up the 1st down.
Coleman's really been the favorite target of Golban. And as we saw there, they trusted him. They trusted Golban to make the throw, and they picked up the 1st down.
Mention Warde head coach Duncan Della Volpe, former offensive coordinator for Lou Marinelli at New Canaan, won the 2008 state championship. But he had experience with a good offense here at New Canaan, and kind of gave him the experience to make those big calls in the big situations, as it will be 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Onschweiler and Golban in the backfield, twin receivers. Golban drops back, throws it, and incomplete. Good pressure by number 21, Dylan Murray.
It's been the same story all night. The New Canaan pass rush has gotten to Golban. He was forced to make a quick throw, and it wasn't on target, thrown out of bounds, and they really haven't been able to give him time in the pocket.
Golban trying to complete some passes. Mentioned being very cut on time, as there's a little under 3 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter.
We'll see if they choose to run with William Onschweiler. They might want to take it easy on him, considering he was just banged up. Well, you know, he has been one of their go-to options.
Golban with the snap, over the middle, caught by Onschweiler for the Warde touchdown. You mentioned, Dylan, you called it. Onschweiler, they were going to not necessarily hand him off the ball, but they throw it over the middle to him, and they pick up the touchdown.
That was a good route by Onschweiler. He just got around the tackle and cut right up the field for the touchdown.
I did also mention Onschweiler, normally a wide receiver for this team, saw 14 receptions in the team's first 4 games. And now the PAT for the Mustangs appeared to got a hand on it, was New Canaan, but it still goes through off the leg of Walla. So it's 17-7. New Canaan will get the ball back after a very successful possession on their last go at it.
That was pretty much an ideal possession for Warde, although possibly they took off a bit too much time on the clock, but they do have a whole quarter and just under 3 minutes left, so about 15 minutes of play left to score a touchdown and a field goal to tie up the game.
I mentioned entering the half, Fairfield Warde had 26 yards. That totals now up to 133. Very successful drive for the Mustangs.
Yeah, a lot of that came off of Coleman's big reception. That really changed the narrative of the drive. It definitely could have been a safety or a quick 3 and out, and that would have given New Canaan good field position. But they got the big catch, and although the holding call back brought them back 10 yards, they were able to rebound and put the ball in the end zone.
So Fairfield Warde will kick it away. Eric Stern, number 62, I believe the third kickoff kicker for the Mustangs tonight. They had Selka do it. I believe Silk did it once.
We'll see if they choose to kick to sophomore Alexander Benevento. He had a good return last time.
Kicks it off, fielded by Bailey at the 15-yard line. And he is just going right up the middle with it. He has some room. Connor Bailey. He is still up. The 5-touchdown, New Canaan, number 20, Connor Bailey.
That is an electric play by Connor Bailey. Amazing kick return. I just talked about how Alex Benevento had an amazing kick return last time. Well, that's just as good as you could possibly draw up.
You mentioned that they might have been looking to kick it to Benevento, the younger of the two, but they kick it to Bailey, takes it up the middle, and takes it all the way back to the house for an 85-yard touchdown.
That's really unfortunate. The offense is also going to be pretty tired. They had that long about 7-minute drive before, and now they're going to have to get back on the field with very limited rest.
We talked so much about in that first half, how the Mustangs weren't out of it, and they just had to keep up with the Rams. And so far, New Canaan, their offense has just been too quick, I should say, than the Mustangs, as they've only run, I believe, 2 offensive plays this half.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty shocking. And now we see a penalty. Not entirely sure what that was, but there's no change in the ball position.
Ty Groff for the PAT. Benevento with the hold, Groff with the kick, and it is up and good. 24-7, New Canaan leads for the Fairfield Warde Mustangs.
Special teams is a critical part of football. Sometimes it gets forgotten. Most people think of offense and defense as being the main 2 elements of football, but that electric special teams play, whether it be the kick returns we saw, the punt return, the punt block, kick block, those really help a team.
So actually, I found the stats. So New Canaan, they got the ball in the opening possession. Connie passed it, Cognetta ran it, and then Connie threw that long pass for the touchdown. So 3 offensive plays for the Rams this half. And then right there, as you just saw, the kickoff brought back to the house from Bailey.
Warde's had a bunch of good kick returns of their own, so don't rule out the possibility of them returning one for themselves.
That would be something. Back-to-back kickoffs brought to the house.
That would be pretty electric football.
Ty Groff, the best kickers in the state of Connecticut, kicks it, fielded by Selka. And Selka will bring it to the 30-yard line before he is taken down, bringing Charlie Golbin and the offense back on the field after a very successful first drive that they had in the half.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate for the offense, for Warde's offense, that they went down, they did their job, they put 7 on the board, but then the special teams let up 7 of their own, so there's a net 0 in difference. Now they're going to have to march down and score once again.
So Golbin will have twin receivers on the play. Fields the snap, drops back, throws it downfield, looking for Selka, and he can't complete it to Selka as he just overshoots him.
That's the most time Golbin's had in the pocket all day. As you saw, he definitely has an arm, so New Canaan's really going to want to limit that time. That was close to being a pretty good passing play, but luckily it was just overthrown.
Big issue for the Mustangs really all season. 42 sophomores, and a lot of them playing that offensive line position, so Golbin has had to make a lot of quick decisions. But Golbin is just a sophomore. As he drops back, throws it over the middle, complete to number 6, and is taken out. That was Jacobs with the reception.
If I'm Warde, I'm very happy that they found Golbin their sophomore year. his sophomore year, and he's able to get reps. That's really going to help him develop, and I'm assuming he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks, whether it be next year or the year after.
Coleman still has 2 more years. The head coach, Della Volpe, and will leave the field. They'll try their luck yet again. 3rd and 7, nearing the close of the 3rd quarter. Goldman being bombarded, and he is taken down by number 12, Chad Russo.
That's Chad Russo's 2nd sack of the game, and he's been a sack machine this entire season.
Mentioned entering play today, Chad Russo was 6th in the entire state of Connecticut with sacks, his 2nd of the night, upping his total to 11.5 sacks on the season.
That's an impressive total.
Especially just in the 8 games, 9th game here that they have played.
Averaging over a sack a game.
Paul Sussman back to punt for the Mustangs. And a punt that was not going far. Takes a bounce off the 40 and is eventually touched by number 32, Ronner. So an interesting punt from Sussman, something that's kind of out of character for the captain of the Mustangs, as Buchanan will have exceptional field position to start this drive.
He's really been out of his rhythm punting tonight, and that's mainly because Buchanan's been getting a lot of pressure. They've been close to blocking all, I believe, 4 of his punts, and that's really not allowing him to have the time he wants to get set and kick that ball 40 yards down the field as he hopes. So now Buchanan's going to hopefully capitalize on amazing field position.
Connie lines up in motion, and we'll hand it off to Vin Cognetta. See where it was in motion, but he does go with Cognetta, and we'll pick up about 5 on the play.
The first half, every time there was a motion, it was a jet sweep, but this time it's always a fake jet sweep and a run up the middle.
The Mustangs show that jet sweep they kind of adapted to. Trips on the far side, Cunny drops back, throws it, and is deflected by number 10, Onward Sockley.
I was nearly intercepted too. Again, I feel like Cunny kind of has tunnel vision on one side occasionally. I liked Vin Cognetta in the flat for probably would have been about 5. Sometimes he just focuses on one side.
Sockley bringing varsity experience, played on the Mustangs 2019 team, and he picked up a pass deflection there. 3rd and 5 for New Canaan. Cunny, high snap, and he loses it. The ball is down, and he will be retreating on his steps for a loss of about 6 or 7.
I would really like to see New Canaan clean up on the snap in practice this week. That's about the 3rd mishandled snap by Cunny, and that's not all his fault. The center's been snapping it a bit too high. They just got to figure that out. That's a few costly mistakes.
It's all these little things that New Canaan needs to try to clean up as they advance their schedule going into playoffs and the Turkey Bowl next week. We are through 3 quarters. New Canaan leads 24-7 over the Fairfield Warde Mustangs in a game that's started off as a close one, 10-0 into the half. This New Canaan offense exploded coming out of the half. Only ran 3, 4, very low number of offensive plays. Dylan, what do you think Fairfield Warde is going to try to do in the 4th quarter to slow them down and get their offense going?
Well, they're definitely going to build on that last defensive stop. That was key. Their punter didn't do the best job of giving the Rams tough field position, but Warde really capitalized on the opportunity to get a stop and get the ball back. So they just got to focus on putting points on the board. That's going to be critical if they want to tie up this game.
We did mention Fairfield Warde entered that half with only 26 offensive yards. They gained a little over 100, mainly on that one possession, but a good one for the Mustangs that they're going to be happy with at the end of this game.
Yeah, you got to be happy with any advancement, especially in this sophomore-heavy team. They're going to really focus on all the little things, and gaining yards is definitely important.
Mustangs 1-6 on the year, playing a very tough schedule. And the punt from Groff is Mustangs are going to let that one bounce out of play.
Groff is tasked with all the kicking duties on Buchanan. And punting, kicking off, and kicking field goals are the same, but they're also very different. They require different skill sets, and it's very rare you see one person do all three.
And especially someone as talented as Ty Groff kicked a field goal to get New Canaan on the board. We mentioned last week the historic week he had, 4 for 4, including a 44-yard field goal and 15 kicking points. But the Warde Mustangs will trot the offense back on the field, and they will try to put some points on the board.
Yeah, putting points on the board for the Warde Mustangs is going to be critical to catalyze their comeback.
Golden will be in the backfield with Schweiler. I mentioned Schweiler, the third string running back, as he gets it and tried to break a tackle, but is taken down by number 26, Bo Ahrens.
I've been impressed with New Canaan's ability to wrap up Schweiler and really make sure he doesn't break those tackles.
So got to assume New Canaan, I'm not happy, but when Fairfield Warde is down, their 2 top running backs in Bermudez and Valiante, their job of defending Fairfield Warde became 10 times easier.
Yeah, they definitely will take it. Obviously, they never hope to see anyone injured, but they'll definitely take any advantages they can get.
Schweiler with gain of a little, setting up 3rd and 4 on the Fairfield Warde 20-yard line. We talked a little bit about looking ahead. New Canaan, they're off next week, and then back here at Dunning Field Thanksgiving morning, 27th Turkey Bowl between the New Canaan Rams and the Darien Blue Wave. First time since 2018, and will be played at Dunning Field. And at Fairfield Warde, McMahon next week, and Thanksgiving morning, the Ludlow Falcons. Golben drops back, being pressured, gets the throw off, and thrown into the ground. Pressure was being put on by Blair and Perez Soto.
This is very arguably 4-down territory. There's 10 minutes and a bit left in the 4th quarter. They're down by 17, but they elect to punt, it looks like.
That blitz has been working for New Canaan all night, and they did it once again, using 2 upperclassmen to pressure Golben, as Paul Sussman will be punting it for the Mustangs. Gets the punt up. Another one popped up into the air. Now for a big gain. And Sealer will let it go. Ball will roll all the way down to the 49-yard line. Just some good field position for the Rams.
Max Lurch really got to be careful on that punt. That ball almost hit him, and that would be catastrophic for the Rams. That would give the Mustangs the ball back and with good field position. So he's really got to just back away from that, let the Warde players handle the ball.
Looking at the Canaan ball. Henry Cunny will trot his team on the field. 49-yard line. As they're going to look to try to put this one away. Up 24-7 against the Fairfield Warde Mustangs. Matchup that Fairfield Warde has not won since the 80s. Hands it off. And picking up a couple with it is Connor Bailey.
The biggest takeaway New Canaan's going to take from this week is A, their pass rush, and B, their running ability. They've really had an amazing game of running, headlined by Vin Cognetta and Connor Bailey.
Yeah, this has been a rush-heavy team, New Canaan. And then you have a guy like Henry Cunny who can throw it downfield or use his legs to run. Plus, we mentioned Ty Groff. It's just a 3-headed monster, this New Canaan offense. As Bailey gets the handoff, he will plow his way through. Not just short of the first down. And it will be 3rd and inches. Head referee's looking at it, lining it up. It's a close call, but they are going to call it 3rd down. They're going to elect to not bring the chains out onto the field. 3rd and inches for the Rams on the 40-yard line. More like the 39-yard line. And some confusion, it appears.
Ref's not entirely sure if that's a first down or not. They elect to call it third down and not bring up the chains. We'll see if this affects the outcome.
Cunny hands it off. And Cognetta will power his way through for the first down. A little bit of an easier call for the refs here. Pretty clear first down.
Yeah. I mean, the worst case scenario for the Rams would be if they got called short, didn't bring out the chains, and then they lost yards and it was clearly a fourth down. That would have been unfortunate, but they end up just getting a good, clean run for a clean first down.
Telesco will enter play, creating that trips on the far side.
Telesco's really been their big play weapon. He had that one that was called back in the first half by a holding call, or I believe it was actually a false start call. So we'll see if they target him.
And Cognetta gets the handoff. He's breaking free. Found a hole. He is still up, being dragged down by number 20, TJ Sinis.
Cognetta's had a few of those this game. They're going to keep feeding him if he's going to keep doing that.
We mentioned Turkey Bowl, Darien Buchanan, Ty Comiskey of Darien, also a specialty of his, breaking tackles and picking up yards after contact, and Finn Cognetta did that just there as a timeout called by the Mustangs.
Yeah, Darien's definitely going to start prepping for the duo that New Canaan has shown this game. They're going to make sure they have good D-line presence, and we'll see. I'm excited for that game. I know you are too.
It's going to be a highly anticipated Turkey Bowl, especially given the fact that last year they didn't play an official Turkey Bowl because of the pandemic. So very highly anticipated matchup. Once again, Thanksgiving morning here at Dunning Field, Darien and Buchanan. I think that game can be seen on NCTV and DAF Media. But it should be a good one, to say the least. And as for this one right here, still a good one, 24-7. Mustangs, their chances are slimming at coming back in this one, but they need that big play. Need to make a big stop here, get the ball back, and get a touchdown. 8:09 left to play in the fourth quarter.
Warde's going to really have to try to force a turnover here. That would be as good as they could possibly do.
Cunny hands it off. Cognetta picks up some change on it. Pretty good rush there, picking up 5. 2nd and 5.
Cognetta's really going to have to be careful with the ball. There's just under 8 minutes left. They're going to keep running this into the end zone, ideally, and burn as much time off the clock, and he's just got to focus on not fumbling.
The Dunning Field crowd slowly dwindling away. The student section has left. But a pretty good night for some football. Rains early on today, some fog, some gusts, but a little pitch perfect this quarter. In motion was Telesco. He gets it on the jet sweep. And Telesco will bring it to the 10-yard line.
Telesco is one of the fastest players on this Rams team. You really can't allow him to get the edge, and Warde did a good job of just getting him in time.
Number 33, Hunter Telesco. 7 rushes entering play tonight, 107 yards and 1 touchdown. And he's been a big factor for the Rams. Bailey and Cunny in the backfield. Trips on the near side. Cunny drops back. Being pressured by Coleman, and he is taken down for a loss of 10.
I'm impressed with Cunny's ability to hang on with the ball. I thought that was about to be a strip sack.
Lucas Coleman powered through that New Canaan line and put the pressure on. And Ty Groff has entered the field. New Canaan will be attempting a field goal.
Groff has been 1 for 2 in this game. The one miss was really from very, very long distance, 49 yards. So I think he should have all the confidence in the world coming into this.
36-yard field goal for Groff. He made this last week versus Ludlow. The snap. Groff with the kick. It is up, and it just has enough. Ty Groff with a 36-yarder, extending the New Canaan lead to 20.
Ty Groff has been money in these past 2 weeks.
I'm saying in warm-ups, the first thing I noticed when I saw this field was Ty Groff drilling those 50, 40-yarders in practice. And I was excited just to see him come out here and kick, and we've seen him 3 times, 2 for 3 on the field goals. He's just one talented kicker.
Yeah, he should have all the confidence in the world. Every time he steps up to a kick, he knows he can make this. He's just got to execute.
We mentioned entering play, 29 for 20 on the PATs, extended that 31 for 31 on the PATs. And on the field goals, 8 made field goals on the season. That is the most in the entire state of Connecticut. And 11 attempts. I should say 13 attempts. My apologies. Now Ty Groff will kick it away.
Getting a good kicker in high school football always helps. You always want to have that guy you can lean on, and that's pretty rare. Good kickers are hard to come by.
That's the defining factor between the solid teams and really kind of your average team is a team that can kick those long field goals. And it makes the offense, it makes their job a little less hard if they know that if they're that far out, they can get something going. As Coleman drops the kick, the ball is down. Buchanan putting the pressure on him. He is still up, and he will be tiptoeing his way to the 26-yard line.
That was Coleman's first mistake of the game. He's had, in my eyes, a very solid game. He's had a bunch of good kick returns. He had that amazing catch, but he was still able to turn that into a positive gain.
Lucas Coleman, another talented football player out here. 7 receptions for 67 yards in the game. Impressive night for Fairfield Warde Jr.
Buchanan's really going to want to get their pass rush going once again. They got to limit Warde to as few yards as possible here.
Trips on the far side. Goldman drops back. Short little pass. Flag is down on the play. It was completed to Amschweiler. We will check that flag as the clock is stopped with 5:50 left to play.
Didn't exactly see what that call was going to be on.
The refs are going to conjure and make a call. Referee going to trot his way out, and illegal receiver downfield on Fairfield Warde is the call.
That's always hard on those short passes. The linemen want to get out and help their receivers and give them a lane, but they can't be more than a yard past the line of scrimmage once the ball is thrown. When the ball is thrown.
So we mentioned the penalties were killer to New Canaan, but they've killed Fairfield Warde a good amount tonight. The penalties have really hurt both sides in this one.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of the game, the penalties were frequent for Warde. Then they had that good stretch in the second and third quarters where they had few, if any, penalties. But now they're kind of picking up that trend again more than halfway through the fourth.
15-yard penalty for the Mustangs. This will push them all the way back to the 14-yard line. Setting up 1st and 24. Golban and Amschweiler in the backfield. Golban takes the snap, drops back, throws it, and Golban tried to make the completion, and they are going to say it hit the ground, and then found the hands of Connor Bailey.
Connor Bailey trying to sell that interception. He missed that one earlier, tried to make it up there.
That's half the battle. First you got to make the catch, and then you got to sell the call. Bailey did. He tried to do half of it.
Didn't make the catch, just off one bounce.
Still a nice play regardless.
Yeah, they'll take the incompletion.
They will set up 2nd and 24 for the Mustangs. Still on the 14-yard line. Golban, twin receivers, drops back. Being pressured, throws it long downfield, intended for Coleman, but he was being pressured by number 20, Connor Bailey.
That was a bit of a late hit on the quarterback. I thought that definitely could have been a flag, but went uncalled.
Coleman, number 11 for the Mustangs. Just a junior, 5'10", 165 pounds, and a great night he has had.
He's definitely been their best receiver, and they've shown that they're willing to throw to him.
3rd and 24. Fairfield Warde down by 20 with 5 minutes and 19 seconds left to play. Golban and Amschweiler in the backfield, twin receivers on the play. Golban drops back, short pass over to Selka is complete. A evades tackle from Aaron's. Eventually will be taken down by number 7, Gardner.
The Rams only rushed 3 that play and still got pressure on the quarterback, which shows just how dominant their pass rush has been this game.
Makes it a tough time for any team. If New Canaan, you're playing a team like New Canaan that is that talented on the line and pressures your quarterback, it really resorts you to make those risky plays, and Mustangs haven't been able to overcome it.
Ward would love to go for this with 5 minutes left in the fourth. It's kind of necessary, but 4th and 22, that's pretty much inachievable.
Sussman with the punt, better punt than his last one. Fair caught at the 49-yard line by number 17. It's alert. We mentioned the history between these teams, but the other history we haven't mentioned, these teams met in 2019. New Canaan won 28-7, but prior to 2019, they had a 5-year gap where they didn't play, and that was due to the FCAC divisions, where they realigned after Trinity Catholic closed. So looking forward, assuming the divisions stay, these teams will be meeting every year, which is something that I think is good for both sides.
Yeah, I could definitely see this turning into a mini rivalry with Coach De La Volpe on the Ward sideline. Used to be the offensive coordinator for the Rams.
That's right. And that's really the challenge, is for out-of-conference games. You play 9 games in your division, so you don't really have room for any out-of-conference, out-of-division games. So that explains the 5-year gap, but I like how you put it, a mini rivalry that could start between these teams and 2 great coaches. As the rush there from Canaan picks up 2 yards.
Both coaches really want to win, no matter who they're playing, but, you know, it gives them that extra fire, and, you know, knowing an old friend is on the other sideline.
On one sideline, you have Lou Marinelli, the winningest coach in the state of Connecticut, and Duncan De La Volpe, one of the most talented offensive coordinators in the state. As the rush from Bailey picks up a few. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of rushes from New Canaan to close this one out. Just keep the clock moving, keep it ticking.
Yeah, their lead's going to be relatively safe right now. It's a 20-point lead. As long as they just limit errors and run the ball, get first downs, they should have no problem closing this game out.
Fairfield Ward, 1-6. If they drop this one today, we'll move to 1-7. They've played such a tough schedule. If they lose to New Canaan, their 7 losses would have come to teams with a combined record of 47-10, which that's brutal, especially when 5 of those teams of your 7 losses are all in a playoff spot right now.
They've had a very difficult schedule, but that's going to help them in the long run.
That is a good point to make, as Bailey immediately stopped by Paul Sussman.
The one dark spot, shall I say, on this Rams game so far has really been the connection between Henry Cunny and his center, Ned Brady. The snaps have been a little high, and that's really going to be something they've got to clean up on. They can't afford that when they play Darien in 2 weeks.
That is the thing. They can afford to make those little careless errors in this game here, but then going forward in the state playoffs, the Turkey Bowl, those errors they need to tune up and really try to avoid making them, as Groff will punt for the Rams. Back is Selka. And New Canaan going to take all the time they can. 10 still on the play clock. They get the snap off. Groff with the kick. Low lining punt. And New Canaan will let that one roll before Genter grabs it.
That was a good bounce for New Canaan. Ty Groff would definitely like a bit more arc on that punt. It was a little bit too flat. Definitely could have been blocked, but he'll take the result.
27-7 our score. New Canaan with a comfortable lead. 2 minutes still left to play.
Ward's really got to push this ball down the field. They need to make up 20 points in 2 minutes. It's going to be a very, very tough challenge, especially since they've only put up 7 in the game. But they're definitely going to try. They'll take any reps they can get.
And although it might be unlikely that Fairfield Ward comes away with the win today, there's a lot of things they can take away from today, a lot of good things that they did well from really both sides of the ball, as Golban is back with twin receivers.
I've been very impressed with Amschweiler's ability to step up, as we just saw him make a catch.
That's part of the reason why he's been so effective tonight, is that he can rush the ball, but he is mainly a wide receiver, so he can catch those short passes over the middle, as he has been targeted quite a lot tonight.
Yeah, they've gone to him quite a bit, and he's produced on most of the plays.
That was his 12th reception of the night. Golden once again dropping back, throws it, completes it over the middle to Coleman. Was taken down by number 26, Bo Aarons.
Ward's really going to have to try to diversify their targets. They've really just gone to Coleman and Omschweiler this entire game. You've got the Selka brothers lining up on the close side. They might want to go to them, just give them reps.
Once again, New Canaan, 1 game left in the regular season. Fairfield Ward still 2. They play Brian McMahon. McMahon had some scheduling conflicts, so they will play next week. As the pressure's being put on, throws it over the middle, complete. But a big hit from number 32, Matthew Axon.
Moving forward, I really want to see Ward focus on protecting their young quarterback. This is a guy that they want to have for the next 2 years. They can't afford to have him taking shots like that. And I would recommend they just wind the clock down, accept the loss. They don't want to have time for possible injuries on their young players.
We did see Fairfield Ward lost one of their captains tonight to injury as Goldman throws it complete on the far side to Coleman and is taken down by a committee of New Canaan players.
That was a lucky grab on Coleman's jersey. It definitely helped with the tackle. He was close to breaking it, but he got a piece of the jersey.
So assuming the score stays, New Canaan will advance to 8-1 on the season, and Fairfield Ward will drop to 1-7 as Goldman's scrambling. He throws out of the reach of Coleman. Clock will stop with 6 seconds left to play, and that is not good to see. Charlie Goldman down on the ground. His helmet is off.
That's exactly what we didn't want to see in the end. It's really not going to make a difference on the outcome of them winning the game and making a playoff spot. So they really just got to focus on his health. They can't afford him getting injured his sophomore season, especially because he's most likely going to be a starter for 2 more years.
So similar to the college rules, Gulbin, his helmet fell off, so he will have to come out for a play. It's going to be interesting what they do with that quarterback position, considering we mentioned they were on their 3rd and 4th string running back at time, and now they will move to their backup quarterback.
We've seen two receivers throw the ball, so maybe one of them tries it, but I'd expect a run and just the game to be over.
Sam Paduto hands it off to Omschweiler. And this will just about do it. New Canaan will win this one by the final score of 27-7 over the Fairfield Ward Mustangs. They will advance their record to 8-1, and Fairfield Ward will drop to 1-7. Dylan, what were your final takeaways in this one?
Well, I really was impressed by the New Canaan pass rush and Omschweiler's ability for Ward to step up and get a few good rushes, as we saw at the end there.
Now, on the New Canaan side, they're off next week. They're going to have a ton of practices, and then they're going to go in and take on Darien Blue Wave Thanksgiving morning back here at Dunning. What do you think they're going to focus on in their practices and tweak heading into that game?
Well, they're definitely going to work on that connection between Ned Brady and Henry Cunny and making sure they get that snap clean every time. Because we saw a few mishaps go on there, and Darien's one of the strongest teams in the state, so they really can't afford to make mistakes like that. Also, Vin Cognetta is going to, although he had a terrific game, he's going to make sure he holds on to the ball because he did have that one fumble early that he recovered himself.
So Fairfield Ward, they dropped to 1-7. Their behemoth of a schedule continues, and 2 easier games, if you will. Still left to play Brian McMahon and the Fairfield Ludlow Falcons. We're going to take one final look at the FCAC before we sign off. The great games happening around the league tonight on this beautiful Friday night. As you've seen the score, the Fairfield Ludlow Falcons take down Bridgeport Central 45-0. Norwalk Wilton, that's a game that a lot of people wanted to see. Grant Masterson and the Wilton Warriors now down 28-21 over the Norwalk Bears. Staples picking up the win against Richfield, and then Trumbull the commanding win, or I should say commanding win over Danbury. But Dylan, does that score kind of catch your eye there, that Wilton-Norwalk score?
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Norwalk's ability to come back. Although we weren't there, I mean, that's a 14-point comeback.
Wilton, a team that has been surging this year. They came here, took down New Canaan on a last-second field goal by Michael Cooper, and they are playing great against the Norwalk Bears. Once again, the New Canaan Rams, your winner by the final score of 27-7 over the Fairfield Ward Mustangs. I'm going to give one final shout-out to the NCTV production crew doing a great job bringing you all the sights and sounds in this one. Emily Fox, Armand Lachey, Tommy Fox, Aiden Taylor, Maggie Murphy, and Amelie Lanoff. For our entire production crew, Dylan as a party, I should say. Braden Shank, and we thank you for watching NCTV. We'll see you next time.
You want to score soup and warm up? Now you're inside.